Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm, part 56, Limits and Range. Again, back to math, more really logic and language, trying to develop a straightforward phrase that everyone says, or a reasoning or rationale for something that everybody says that establishes a new fact with undeniable logical presentation and reduced language to describe that. But limits and range. What kind of limits? The main just kind of mathematical question. We've been talking a lot about base, basis, the exact linguistical spelling of the differences in the different contexts. But what about range? What kind of limits and what can we say about there for physical motivations? Just some review. Remember we've talked about small, medium, and large. Last episode is just, being a shopper, being a normal person. But clearly three gradations, and then you have extra, extra, extra small, and extra, extra, extra large. Those are measurements of size. And those are, physical dimension. But now we also have, have you ever seen the movie The Day After Tomorrow? I'm a big fan. I thought it was a fun movie, really like that one. But we have three words that distinctly describe time, right? Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. There is no word for the day after tomorrow. And those are measurements of time. And then we just talked about base, better, and best. You have some object, you have some tool, some algorithm, and then you make it better, and then you make it the best. So like the better would be the iterations, and the base and the best are like the limits. Well, the base is the base, and best is the limit. But those are measurements of efficiency. And then in structured math class, we had mean, median, and mode. Mean, the average, median, the middle, and mode, the most. Those are measurements of data, or just like adjectives of data. But they're all very clear, right? We have three literally words present in our vocabulary to describe three what? Right, we can keep saying three dimensions, but just even getting away from the physics and just the logic. To me, those all strike me as like limits and iterations of range, right? We have three primary colors, we iterate them, we get infinite colors. But I think there should be some limitation or some clear physical motivation for this. And the thing I have up here is local system closure, limits of range, enclosure, containment, or container, question mark. Right? What kind of physics can we take this clear logical linguistical presentation and say, here's why that occurs. Here's the physical reason for that. Here's the geometric reason as to why that's true, or what it applies to. And that's what I mean is like, what's the limits of range? And I have a question mark because I don't know, but again, there's physical motivations, right? Physics, then language, then proof, and that's what you're established as mathematics for everybody. And so now we're out, for me personally, just any real big proofing is you're going from the language and logic level to establish that mathematical fact, and it takes a fuck ton of long time to do so. Also, just random note on I have a little, I've had lights like for production lights, but I'm not a photographer, so if you can see like the little reflection, again, just deal with it. But that's what I have for, again, the motivations, and again, some set of three, some limitation from the base, and different descriptions. Also to extend our logic to our Spanish portion of the proof, right? We said where there is a will, there is a camino. Todos los caminos es siempre. All the ways is always. And that's a logical reduction of plurality to singularity in the Spanish language, right? That reads completely logically fine. My grammar should be fine, but todos los caminos es siempre. All the ways is always. Again, that's just a Spanish extension. We've talked about local system closure as being the motivation for these sets of limits or range limits or something. But now, again, just reviewing sensorality versus sensorality, S versus C in the wild. All right, just go around, go look at your washing machine, go watch a TV commercial, and just be aware of the different spellings. Like I said, I'm pretty sure my washing machine in this department also says sensing, right? Sensing the load. That should be sensing with a C, right? We've defined, and I'm not even saying it's defined, it's already proven, that the presentation of sensorality spelled with a C is for non-sentient beings, right? Sensorality, sentience, sensorality produces sense, sensation, sentience. So again, clear linguistic, sense, the S-E-N-S-E, but just go look around at the different times, you'll see people not being logically clear, but they're still toying around with the context. The reason they fuck it up is because they're like latching on to the rhythm of the structure of the logic, and they're like, oh, what do I do? Fuck it up. But there's a bunch of examples, just go check them out. And so again, that's what I'm trying to do, is again show how there's a form of this word, I think concentration, but right, we spell concentration with a C, so that would be logically invalid or inconsistent. So again, I have to show some iteration of the letters as to why, again, sensorality is with a C is the base of sensorality with an S. We've already discussed that. So sensorality with an S is a range. So how do we apply these things? And again, limits, the 3 might be the base, and then the 5, the 6 sets, or the 7 elements, that could be the limit of the range. And again, should pair to something directly linguistically with letters and spell out numerically, right? Some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 direct iteration with numerals. But again, I'm just trying to resolve all of this logic and again show a clear, definitive, everyday statement, everyday logical quote. Every day you stare off into space and say, oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It is what it is. We're all in this together. And show the direct logical iteration of these words. So that's what I have for the proofing today. And then just some reflections on Grafton Park, my old apartment complex, and going to Steak and Shake. I got the 3-for-1 special. Some story time now. So just 2 quick stories again. In like the last math lecture we talked about, again, the last month or 2 at my old apartment complex has been nothing short of people openly communicating with me about all of the shit I'm doing directly without paying me. Just honestly nothing more degrading. Just pay me my fucking money. But another story I forgot to say was, and again, just like reference from my apartment building at Grafton Park. You can Google it, it's Columbus, Ohio. But the buildings are very close. Like you're like there's a walkway, you're building a walkway in another building right there. And this story is about a guy like the second floor is right above. But my point is they were able to just look into my apartment constantly. But met one of my neighbors, Adam, who works at, again, I don't know, could actually work there, could not, don't care, not relevant. Works at Worthington Cylinders from Central Ohio. That would make, again, I've talked about that in person, that would make sense to me. But what was I going to say? Oh, so I just introduced myself, and this is again right when I'm getting the notice to cure and just being called combative for trying to put in a normal work order at an apartment. He's just sitting outside, and again, I've been aware of what's been going on since I've moved in. And I just introduced myself, just, hey man, what's up? Like, how you doing? Because like I said, the other interactions, like I said, there was no introduction, there was no hey, it was just people directly coming up and talking to me. And so I just say, hey, what's up to this guy? What do you do? Where do you work? Small talk, blah, blah, blah. And then I say, hey man, you ever give Tolstoy? Have you ever read any book? You ever read Tolstoy? Because in the very beginning lecture series I showed you, I literally graded Tolstoy, like 1,200 pages, Russian translated to English, word for word, every logical bit. So the whole conversation about the Tolstoy, I literally go, hey man, you ever read Tolstoy? And he's just like, kind of like, nah, not really. And I say, I gave it a quick glance, and the next words out of his mouth were, that looks like a lot of work. What looks like a lot of work? I said I gave Tolstoy a brief glance. But I immediately know what I was talking about my research. And so, and then that one was just like, so the other ones were like more poignant. But again, for the last month to 2 months at this place, people directly talking about research that I've done 2 years ago. And the MSRI, they've signed for that. Like they've confirmed they are in possession of my property. Getting talked about it with my neighbor with literally zero reference whatsoever. And how much is that book worth? Go auction that thing, and I get a commission every time it's sold. But then he asked me, and that was just again directly talking about things in this lecture series that in person I've never referenced not one time. And then he directly asked me again, obviously you guys aren't watching my internet traffic, and I've consented to that, and I want you to have it because I do science all day. But then he goes, He goes, why are you still like doing, like looking at businesses, like looking for new companies? Because I'm still getting kicked out of my fucking apartment for like literally normal shit. And to the people I haven't talked to in 5 and 10 years, this has nothing to do with my fucking family. This is literally just me fucking existing, trying to be normal, and then weird fucking people having visceral reactions to me. Now, not the neighbor Adam, the fucking Grafton Park people. And then I turn around, and if I were to say anything directly to Grafton Park, like, hey, there's FBI agents or professors or whoever directly watching me, they would look at me like a goof. But they are telling me they are. So it's like, and then I have a bunch of data. And you'll see that at court, boys and girls. I'm not gonna tilt my hand too much. But to Adam, the only reason I have been looking at anything financial in the past fucking 4 to 5 years is because you guys won't give me a time frame. That is it. That is it. Period, end of story. That is it. And again, nothing more degrading than having people. Again, like the Prashant guy comes up to me and is like, you know, the Prashant guy also told me I didn't need a 2-bedroom apartment. I need an office to do science research. I'm so tired of people telling me, why are you doing this, why are you doing that? So I can do scientific research. We are still in a society of the most rigorous scientific denial ever. You can just make YouTube channels and have families and have good technologies and you think that's not happening. It still is. That's still why all of this stuff is happening. Like I said, I'm eating fine now. I'm back up to like 188, 190, which is my normal exercise weight. Feel much fucking better. Like I said, watching me does not bother me, does not affect my behavior whatsoever. Getting harassed by the Grafton Park, getting called combative, not having access to the lease agreement. And then I'll give you a story about going to Steak and Shake. It'll make sure I'm still rolling. And so it's like my family and people I haven't talked to in 5 years, and just people like that will watch these lecture series. I'm talking about like, you get on and off, basically on and off constant interaction, literally in person at my house, but they can't strike a check. They can't put they can put hey hottie on my door, but they can't put about 6 months in my mailbox so I can just pay myself. But like I said, that past for a while, 6 months at Grafton Park for sure. I mean, like the whole time, but like direct interactions for the past 2 months, like the last 2 months I was there was just double time. But going to Steak and Shake. So just Sawmill Road, anybody familiar, Columbus, Ohio. There's a lot of walking distance restaurants and stuff, but there's a main road, so you can cross the road, but there's like 3 or 4 restaurants around my apartment building. Walked to Steak and Shake one day, had my Bud Light hat on. Again, had I been drinking beer? Yes. Had I drank more than like 4 beers in the past 2.5 hours? 0% chance. And I've been going to Steak and Shake my entire life. Well, not my entire life, but since like early high school. I'm 28. I'll be turning 28 next month. And Steak and Shake has now gone from waiters and waitresses to ordering at a kiosk for in-store seating, eating in the store. And so I walk in there, and they're busy, they got stuff going on, and so I'm just going to be polite. I'm just going to like not make a bunch, again, not stare them down, not get up in their face, just pleasantly stand back. The 6 feet things were on the floor until someone says, hey, welcome to Steak and Shake, man, take your order. Seems like a pretty reasonable thing to do at an American restaurant. Waiters and waitresses are pretty standard. By pretty standard, I mean fucking everywhere. But you can just tell, like a high school girl is just the front desk, or not again, like they didn't have a front desk, but like one of the frontline workers closest to the kiosks. So then I was like, after like, like 5 to 10 minutes with nobody interacting with me and no one's saying anything to me, the employees. Again, I'm a customer. I'm supposed to know corporate policy changes in the past 6 months. That's me. And I'm like, can I get some service? Again, politely like, hey, can I get some service? Like, hey, what's going on? And she kind of like snaps at me. She's like, well, you order on the kiosk. And once someone snaps at me, once someone's disrespectful to me, again, as a normal person, not as the person who's unified the natural sciences, not as the director of global scientific research, as someone trying to get a fucking cheeseburger. Or a Frisco Melt, Frisco Melt. Do like Frisco Melts, but fuck Steak and Shake. And so, the high school chick, you can tell she has a fucking attitude, and once you start getting disrespectful with me, like I said, I wasn't like, not loud, not bodacious, not being that insulting, but just like, it's like casually insulting back to her, which is again, normal as fucking shit. And then the manager, he gets, again, she's probably sucking off the manager for an extra $1.50 an hour. The manager starts getting irate with me. He just calls, well, this is what I want to say. From the Grafton Park to the going to Steak and Shake. The first thing out of his mouth, he goes, I knew there was something different about you. Viscerally, people perceive that I'm peaceful. I've reached enlightenment. And it's just being present. That's all that is, but it's real. And so the thing that he noticed was me being polite and a busy store. A lot of people would be getting up in people's faces. I was just politely waiting for a waiter or waitress or hostess to address me as I walked into a fucking restaurant. And that's literally all I did. Tried to order some food. The front desk lady just starts getting hilariously insulting. And again, bitch, you probably make what, 10 bucks, 12 bucks an hour? Fuck you. Flip that burger, bitch. Try to pay off your high school, your college loans, bitch. And who do you think you're learning from? Who do you think your schools are distributing information from? Me. So I go to try to buy a fucking Frisco melt, and some bitch who can't pay her fucking bills is gonna sit there and be disrespectful to me, and then have her boss call me again. He didn't even call me drunk, he just called me and he said, I knew there was something different about you, and I had my Bud Light hat on, and then he goes, oh, you're clearly intoxicated. And there was, I don't know, 15 high school kids sitting there, again, not even really recording, but just watching what was going on. And I didn't raise my voice one time, I was just dumbfounded because I don't know how the fuck you order when, again, I'm supposed to know corporate policy when that changes 6 months ago. And so the manager, I'm just like, dude, just give me your fucking, whoever owns the thing, guy's name is Sean Brooks, Big Laurie Holdings, owns Steak and Shake. I'm demanding he lose his fucking, because the manager, his name was Jacob, who he probably makes, wow, 15 bucks an hour. Jacob, I'm sure you're busy right now breaking down boxes outside of Steak and Shake, sucking some fucking, what the fuck, your Sean Brooks' dick, trying to pay off a shitty fucking mortgage or pay for your 15 fucking illegitimate fucking kids because you're incompetent. If you had any fucking workable skill sets, you wouldn't be a dick sucker at fucking Steak and Shake. So I'm really hoping that you do something better for society or go feed some alligators. Who really fucking cares? But he put his hands on me. He 100%, again, I am not, he could smell alcohol on my breath, but again, I drank a beer. Like, I'm gonna have beer on my breath. But again, not drunk, 0%. Dude starts pushing me out of the fucking store. Tried to report assault, again, Columbus Police Department, they don't respond to assault or something. That's literally what they fucking told me, unless there's a blood drawn or this drawn. Fuck all of that shit. I'm a fucking judge. He put his fucking hands on me. That's fucking assault. Send him to fucking jail. Sean Brooks, owner of the store, loses his fucking license. And Steak and Shake, you got a couple $100 million of revenue, and you're gonna be fucking bankrupt in a blink of a fucking eye. So I hope, again, this is the base of knowledge. So I hope this is going to be a little, these public complaints are gonna be a little more detrimental to your shitty corporate policy than fucking a lawsuit. But 100% the fucking manager assaulted me. The high school kids, again, Grove City kids, I talked about this in person. Grove City kids come out, and then they're like, again, I have freestyled for them a little bit. They put that on Snapchat, and one of the dudes was like, why isn't this dude huge already? Because I'm literally being fucking restricted from society completely and entirely. Definitely a very good vocalist. But go outside, high school kids, there's like, just high school kids, and they're talking about smoking weed, and again, I was like, again, the couple of them said they were fucking 18, I was like, if you guys want to smoke, let's smoke, get a couple nugs, come back, and like the whole group of people was fucking different. There was like 1 or 2 people that was the same. And one of either the neighbor's kids or one of, not the direct adjacent neighbor that I talked to in person, but one of the blonde-haired kids was the same. That was about it. So it was either one of the same people or they knew the people in there. And then the dude homeboy was like jiggling his fucking waist belt. Did he have a gun? Were they gonna rob me? Don't really know. But the reason I left the group of people was because it was a completely different group of people. And so I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. And I have no interest really in smoking weed with fucking high schoolers. The dude said they was 18. But they just watched me get fucking assaulted inside fucking Steak and Shake. And I was like, the amount of time I deal without any normal human interaction is so fucking long, it's insane. Like, actually fucking literally. But the group of people changed. Homeboy was jiggling his belt, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? So I just left that. Except the kids weren't the problem, but the Steak and Shake, Sean Brooks needs to lose his store. And again, Sean, you're fucking working every day. Fuck you, dude. And Jacob, the dick-sucking manager, he assaulted me. So he needs to be criminally prosecuted. But that's what I have from Rhythm to Algorithm, part 56, Limits and Range. Thanks for watching.